folks, and welcome into today's video. First off, thanks so much for joining me. My name is Jeremy. This is a financial education channel. Today I'm going to try to keep this video as concise as possible. I have no products to pitch you, anything like that today. We're just going to talk about how to become a millionaire before the age of 30. That's something I was able to accomplish. I'm going to take you, I'm not going to give you a bunch of BS like, oh, you need to read one book a day or you need to do this. No. Straight up, this is how you do it. This is the path to actually doing it versus what conventional wisdom. That's all we're going to talk about. I'm going to try to keep this video as concise as possible. Hope you guys enjoy it. All I ask in return is that you smash that like button. That's literally it. And I got a lot of game to give out in this video, okay? So becoming a millionaire before 30 is something I was fortunate enough to basically accomplish. It took a lot of work to do it, obviously, which, I think that needs to be said, right? I mean, you're going to have to put in some work to do this. There's no doubt about it, okay? So the conventional path that most folks will tell you to go down, right? You graduate high school at 18 years old, then you get into college, right? And you're in college for anywhere from 4 years to potentially 7 years. And then never mind, some people even go further past that. But most folks, if they go to a college, they go the traditional route, right? They get out around 22 years old or 25 years old. And in the United States of America, unless you are super talented and get a scholarship, which is a very small percent, or unless you have parents that are loaded, you have to pay for that college out of pocket. Which means usually you don't have the money to pay for that out of pocket, which means you have to go into debt, right? And you have to take on and accumulate a bunch of debt. So next thing you know, you're in big debt, right? And then you finally get out and you get an entry-level job. An entry-level job, you're 23 years old to 26 years old usually by this time after you graduate college. You get that entry-level job. You're making 40K to 60K a year. And then hopefully by the time maybe you're 30 or so, you move up the ranks a little bit and maybe you're making 100K a year, somewhere around there, and you're living the good life, right? And so that is what conventional wisdom will tell you to do. Now, right off the bat, you're not becoming a millionaire before 30 going down that path. I'm fortunate to know a lot of people that became millionaires in their 30s, or before 30, let's put it that way, right? I don't know one that went down this path to get there, okay? They all went through many different routes to get there, but none of them went through that conventional path. If you just add up the numbers, it's not there, okay? It's just not there. If you're going into big debt and that's your main focus, you're not working, you're not investing, you're not owning your own business, you're not taking your income into your own hands or your money into your own hands, going down the conventional path, it's not gonna get you there. And usually it's hey, try to put 10% into a 401k, something like that. Well, if you've got all this dang college debt, where's the money to really put away, right? Because you're trying to pay off all this debt and you got, a lot of times people are graduating with $50,000 to $150,000 in debt. That's very, very common in the United States of America, right? So this way, you're not becoming a millionaire before 30. That way, I can tell you that way, that much, okay? Now, my way on how I did it, obviously I graduated at high school at 18, like pretty much everybody else, right? And I went into community college. Now, by going into community college, I didn't have to take on any debt because it was, community college is very cheap, or at least back then it was very cheap compared to traditional university. I mean, we're talking about, for credit hours at a university, let's say I was to go to ASU because I lived in Arizona State University or U of A or something like that. I mean, it would have been 4x to 6x those same amount of credit hours versus community college. I was actually able to work part-time jobs and pay off basically the full cost of community college. Plus I had a part-track scholarship that helped a little bit. So I took off no debt, $0 in debt during my college days, right? I also focused, most folks when they go to college, they think, okay, what do I need for my credit hours? Because they're trying to get that degree, right? Because they think they've been, told that degree is going to get you that entry level 40K to 60K a year job, which is going to hopefully put you on the right track, right? And so I actually did it a little different. I was like, what's going to actually help me? And I would look at the credit hours, what is this actually going to help me or is this not going to help me? And I like to focus around what would actually help me. That first semester I was in college, I was doing the traditional route. And it's they're like, hey, you take this course, and you're like, okay. After that, I was like, hey man, I'm paying for this stuff. Let me take stuff that I can actually see myself using in the real world. And that's the way I started to approach it. I'm like, let me actually learn what I'm actually going to use in the real world. And I also was working, making some money and investing money. Now, during the college days, it was very, very small amounts of money. If I made an investment into a stock of $200 to $300, that was great for me. I remember sometimes I would save up money and invest $500 at a time. And that was the best, okay? That was absolutely amazing. And it was not large amounts of money, but it was money nonetheless. And I was slowly climbing that that pyramid of wealth, okay? And it might only been $1,000, $2,000 now I'm worth, $3,000 now I'm worth, $4,000 now I'm worth, but I'm climbing in the right direction versus, a lot of times you're going in the reverse direction. Because a lot of times when folks are in college, they're not even working, right? And you're accumulating all of a sudden $5,000, $10,000 of debt. You're going the reverse way, right? So working and investing, right? Then at age 21, I get done college and I was like, okay, time for me to focus on other things. Got the job at Quick Trip, just basically right around the time I turned 21 there, and started to invest $1,000 to $2,500 a month, and I was completely debt free. So basically, I was living a pretty modest lifestyle nonetheless, right? Living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I was even starting to split bills with my girlfriend at the time, who ended up becoming my wife down the road, right? And I had no debt, $0 of debt, so I was able to basically anything after like the rent and a few expenses here and there, just invest $1,000 to $2,500 a month, which helped me climb a lot faster, right? And start accumulating, start picking better and better stocks. By this time, I had already been investing for several years. And while, I started with amounts that a lot of folks would laugh at, $200 a time, is it even worth it? Right? How are you ever going to get rich off that, right? I was learning during that whole time period and getting better and better and getting my knowledge base up, getting into good habits, understanding researching companies, listen to earnings calls, doing all those sorts of things, got myself in good habits, as well as got experience kind of knowing, okay, these are the type of stocks I need to go after, these are the type of stocks I need to stay away from, things like that. And so next thing you know, now I'm starting to invest some what folks would call real money and starting to accumulate. Next thing you know, all of a sudden I'm worth $20,000, $40,000, $60,000. I still remember when I hit $100,000 net worth. That was absolutely magical, okay? Then I said, okay, then I was up to about $200,000 in stocks, and that's the time I figured out, okay, my earnings at Quick Trip, it can only move so fast because there's only so many promotion opportunities and things like that. So if I'm going to jump from, let's say, making 50, 60K a year to making 100,000 plus a year, right? I'm going to need to get out of this corporate grind. I'm going to need to go start businesses. And so 25, 26 years old, I start my businesses. Absolutely, they were hard. Absolutely, getting them off the ground. It was a challenge and it was difficult. I will never deny that. It was a lot of work, okay? But you know what else is a lot of work? Work, okay? Everything's a lot of work in the end, and it is a little bit of stress, when you're starting that business and trying to get it up and running and things like that. But when you have money behind you, it is so much easier. So by me basically investing and using Quick Trip as kind of like a cash cow so I could invest money, that was a way that I was able to put myself in a position where I wasn't under the stress that this is impossible or something like that. If you're trying to start a business and you got a family to support like I did, right? That can get insanely stressful if you don't have the capital behind you. But because I had the capital from the success I had in the market, right, and investing money, I was able to kind of get it rolling, right? Start businesses. By age 27, between the businesses, I was pulling in like 10K plus a month that I could invest. Not like total, not revenue, not top line. I'm talking that I could invest in stocks, $10,000 plus a month by age 27. And through this, next thing you know, I'm a millionaire. I think I was 28 years old when I became a millionaire. Millionaire meaning, by the way, you have more than $1 million of assets versus your debts, right? And then I think 29, I hit multi-millionaire status, which means you have $2 or more million of assets versus debts, right? And so this is my route I went versus kind of the conventional route. And like I said, the conventional route, you're not becoming a millionaire before 30. It's just not happening, right? You got to be willing to invest. And here's a recipe, okay? Avoid bad debt, right? Avoid bad debt by all costs, like credit card debt and even student loan debt. That stuff is a nightmare. It follows you around everywhere you go. You're 50K, 100K, 150K in debt, and it's a nightmare to get out of. Avoid bad debt, okay? A mortgage or something like that, I would not consider that bad debt, especially considering real estate most of the time goes up, right? So that I would not consider a bad debt. Credit card debt, student loan debt, that stuff I would consider bad debt, okay? Invest as early as possible. No one ever told me invest as early as possible when I was in high school. I can tell you that much. It wasn't until I got this one specific accounting teacher when I was, got into community college, 18, 19 years old, who would kind of explain to us compounding calculators, why it is so important to invest early. There was the only one in my whole life, that told me it is so important to invest when you're young. And I thank that man so much, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here in front of you today. I promise you that. You wouldn't be watching this video right now and enjoying these gems and things like that. I can promise you that. It was that one guy who changed my complete mindset and made me understand the power of compounding numbers and why it's so important to invest early. Whew! I'm fortunate for that. I'm lucky for that, okay? Invest early is key for the recipe. And also, owning your own business. When you own your own business, you take your income and you put it into, it's unlimited. It's literally unlimited. At a corporation, you are limited. You have a limited upside potential. When you start running your own business, it is literally limitless, okay? Absolutely. So that gives you at least a chance to become a millionaire before 30. That's the recipe. And these two are absolutely key. I can tell you owning your own business will definitely help, but I don't think it is absolutely necessary. These two are absolutely necessary, investing early and avoiding bad debt. Like I said, there's no one that I've ever known in my life that became a millionaire before 30 without investing or without avoiding bad debt. Flat out, okay? Investing in stocks, cryptos, whatever it was, real estate investment properties, real estate hacking, things like that, right? Obviously, my way is through stock picking and building wealth through corporations that make money and make me more and more money over time, okay? That's how to become a millionaire before 30. I hope I kept this video as simple as possible for you guys, and all I ask in return is that you smash the like button. That's literally it. If you want to subscribe and hang out here, okay? Thank you for watching, and have a great day.